First up, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark. Specifically, we'll focus on what this coin is worth today in a very dirty and heavily damaged condition. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it doesn't carry a mint mark. Over 1 billion of these coins were produced, making it a very common date in circulated condition. Despite its high mintage, collectors still seek out certain examples, especially in high grades or with rare errors. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. The cleaner and more well-preserved a coin is, the higher its value. But what happens when a coin is very dirty, worn down, or even damaged? That's what we're examining today. A typical 1945 wheat penny without a mint mark in damaged or dirty condition is usually only worth its face value, 1 cent, or slightly more. However, some collectors still pay between $0.05 and $0.20 for these coins as fillers or for educational purposes. In extremely poor condition, including heavy corrosion, scratches, or major discoloration, the coin's value drops significantly. Still, even in that state, it might sell for around 5 to 10 cents if someone is specifically looking to complete a set or use it for display. The only exception would be if your 1945 penny has a rare error, such as a double die or an off-center strike. These can sometimes fetch $20 to $100 or more, even in worn condition. But for a regular coin with no mint mark and heavy damage, there's very little premium. So, to sum it up, a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in very dirty and damaged condition is generally worth about 5 to 10 cents in today's market. It's not a high-value item, but it still holds historical interest and can be a stepping stone for beginner collectors. Next up, the 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, specifically in extra fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, understanding the value of this coin in today's market can be both educational and rewarding. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it doesn't carry a mint mark. Over 316 million of these coins were produced, making it a common date in circulated condition. However, condition matters significantly in coin collecting, and an extra fine example is much more desirable than one that is heavily worn. An extra fine, or XF, grade typically means the coin has only slight wear on the high points of the design. Abraham Lincoln's hair and jawline should show some softness, but all major details remain sharp and clear. This grade represents a midpoint between heavily circulated coins and mint state specimens. As of today, the average value of a 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition ranges between 75 cents and $1.25. Prices may vary slightly depending on the coin's eye appeal and where it's being sold, auction sites, coin shows, or private sales. It's not a rare coin in this grade, but it still holds collectible value, especially as part of a complete wheat penny collection. While this particular penny is not considered rare or high value, it's a great example of how condition affects price. For new collectors, building a set of extra fine or better wheat pennies can be a satisfying and educational journey that introduces you to the world of coin grading and market trends. So, while the 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition isn't going to break the bank, it remains a charming and affordable piece of American history. Be sure to check your change. You never know what treasures you might come across. Next up, the 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark. We'll explore what makes this coin special and how much it's worth in today's market, especially in good condition. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it does not carry a mint mark. This coin is part of the famous wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958 and is beloved by collectors for its iconic reverse design. In 1956, over 420 million Lincoln cents were struck in Philadelphia, making the no mint mark version quite common in circulated condition. However, even common coins can have collectible value based on condition and demand. If you have a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition, which means the coin has visible wear, but the major details like Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks are still clear, it's typically worth around 5 to 15 cents. While that may not sound like much, it's still several times its face value. Now, if your coin is in better condition, such as very fine or extremely fine, the value can rise to around 25 to 50 cents. In uncirculated condition, prices can range anywhere from $1 to over $5, depending on luster, strike quality, and whether it has been certified by a grading company. While the 1956 no mint mark wheat penny is not rare, it remains an important piece for beginner collectors. Its value in good condition may be modest, but pristine examples are more desirable and can fetch higher prices. So if you have a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in your collection, take a moment to assess its condition. It might not make you rich, but it's a great entry point into coin collecting and a meaningful piece of American numismatic history. Next up, the 1952 D. Lincoln wheat penny and what it might be worth in today's market, even if it's in less than perfect condition. The 1952 D penny was minted in Denver with a total mintage of over 746 million coins. As part of the wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, this coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and wheat ears on the reverse. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin in mint state will always command a higher value. But what if your 1952 D penny is in circulated or dirty condition? In circulated and dirty condition, a 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny typically holds minimal collector premium. On today's market, the value ranges from about 3 to 10 cents. This low value is due to high mintage numbers and lack of rarity. However, if there's a unique error such as an off-center strike, doubled die, or repunched mint mark, the value could increase significantly. Some rare error coins from this year have sold for several dollars. Even in circulated state A, quick note: never clean your coin. Cleaning can lower its value significantly. Collectors prefer coins in original, unaltered condition, even if they appear dirty. So, while a dirty 1952 D wheat penny isn't going to make you rich, it's still a piece of American history. And who knows if you get started. First up, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. Even if it's in dirty or circulated condition, this coin can still attract interest in today's market. But how valuable is it really? The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny was the last year of the wheat reverse design before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it does not carry a mint mark. In total, over 252 million of these coins were produced in 1958, so they're not considered rare by mintage numbers alone. However, collectors may still seek them out, especially if they are in better condition or have unique characteristics. If your 1958 wheat penny is in dirty or circulated condition, the value is generally modest. In average circulated condition, such a coin typically sells for around 5 to 15 cents. If it is extremely worn or heavily soiled, the value may drop closer to face value. However, if the coin has interesting errors, such as a doubled die or misstrike, the value can increase significantly, sometimes reaching into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These errors are rare, so any unusual features should be evaluated by a professional. To sum it up, a standard 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark and in dirty or circulated condition is usually worth less than $1. But if you come across one in uncirculated or mint condition, or with a rare error, it might be worth checking with a coin dealer for a proper evaluation. Next up, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark, which was produced at the Denver Mint. This coin is part of the famous Lincoln wheat penny series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, and remains one of the most beloved series among collectors in the United States. The 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny is made primarily of copper, with a small amount of tin and zinc, and features the classic wheat reverse design created by Victor David Brenner. This design was introduced to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person from American history. The obverse shows the profile of Abraham Lincoln with the words, "In God we trust," above his head, and the date 1954 to the right, with the D mint mark just below the date indicating it was struck in Denver. Now let's talk about what makes the 1954 D wheat penny valuable and how much it is worth in today's market. The value of any coin is influenced by its condition, rarity demand, and historical significance. When we refer to the fine condition, we are talking about a coin that shows moderate wear on the high points of the design, but retains enough detail to be clearly identifiable. It is not as sharp or detailed as higher grades, like extremely fine or uncirculated, but it still holds collectible value, especially for those filling in their Lincoln penny albums. As of today in the current numismatic market, a 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition typically has a value of around 10 to 25 cents. This may not seem like a lot, but it is significantly higher than its original face value, and higher than most common modern pennies in circulation. The value can fluctuate depending on the market demand and the exact condition of the coin, but most average fine condition examples fall within this range. For collectors just starting out, or those who appreciate the historical and artistic aspects of coins, the 1954 D penny can be a great and affordable addition to their collection. It also represents an important era in U.S. coinage, and is a reminder of the craftsmanship and detail that went into producing coins during the mid-20th century. If you come across one of these pennies in your change or in a coin jar at home, it is definitely worth taking a closer look at. It may not make you rich, but it holds a unique place in American numismatic history and could spark a lifelong interest in coin collecting. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny. Without a mint mark, and even in dirty circulated condition, it might be worth more than just 1 cent. The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the beloved wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature the classic design of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. The wheat ears are what give the coin its nickname, wheat penny. The 1956 penny is one of the last in this series, making it a little more sought after by collectors, especially those looking to complete a set. Now let's talk about the no mint mark detail. If your 1956 penny has no mint mark under the date, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 420 million of these coins in 1956, making it quite common at the time. However, as the years have passed, many of these coins have been damaged, lost, or simply worn down from circulation. So finding one today in decent shape is not as easy as it might seem. You might be wondering how much a 1956 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in dirty or heavily circulated condition is worth right now in the current market. While the value of a worn or dirty example won't be high, it is still above face value. A typical dirty circulated 1956 penny with no mint mark might sell for around 5 to 15 cents, depending on the coin's overall condition and the interest from buyers. Some people may pay a bit more if the coin has certain interesting features like unusual toning or a strong strike despite the wear. But there's always a possibility of finding something more valuable within that same date. If your 1956 penny has any type of mint error like a double die misstrike or off-center strike, even in poor condition, it could be worth significantly more. For example, some double die examples have sold for several dollars, even with wear. So if you suspect anything unusual about your coin, it's always a good idea to have it examined by a coin expert or dealer who can verify its details. So to summarize, even a dirty 1956 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark is worth keeping, because its value in today's market is more than just 1 cent. While it's not a rare coin in general condition, those in higher grades or with errors can bring in much higher prices. Always check your change and keep an eye out for those little treasures hiding in plain sight. Next up, the 1951 D Lincoln wheat penny. Specifically, we're looking at the version of this coin that features a black color shade, which can sometimes indicate environmental toning, special metal reactions, or unique storage conditions that have given the coin its dark appearance. This coin has gained attention from collectors due to its age, mint mark design, and potential for high value if preserved. Well, now let's talk a bit about the basics. The Lincoln wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958 and is among the most collected coins in the world. The wheat ears on the reverse and the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse are iconic symbols of American coinage. In 1951, the Denver Mint produced over 625 million of these pennies, making it a common year in terms of mintage. However, the value of the coin dramatically changes based on condition, luster, mint errors, and yes, even its color. Collectors sometimes come across Lincoln wheat pennies in a black color shade. This black tone can be caused by oxidation exposure to chemicals, long-term storage in non-archival holders or high-sulfur environments. While this coloration is usually considered a sign of environmental damage, in some rare cases, the eye appeal and unique tone actually increase collector interest, especially if the surfaces remain strong and the details are still sharply defined. The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a common coin that many collectors encounter in their search for vintage pennies. This coin was produced right after World War II, during a period when copper pennies were still the standard in the United States. It features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1946 to the right. The reverse side carries the iconic wheat ears on both sides, which is why it's called a wheat penny. This design was used from 1909 until 1958, before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. When it comes to value, a 1946 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in normal condition, meaning it shows typical wear and dirt from circulation, is generally not considered rare or highly valuable. These coins were minted in large quantities, with millions produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the absence of a mint mark. The coin's value in such condition typically ranges from a few cents to about 20 cents in today's market. Collectors and dealers look at several factors to determine the exact value, including the coin's grade, overall eye appeal, and whether it has any damage or cleaning that might reduce its value. A normal dirty condition coin usually means it has moderate wear on Lincoln's face and hair details, with the wheat ears on the back also showing signs of wear. Despite this, the coin still holds some collectible interest because it is part of the classic wheat penny series and has historical significance. If the coin were in better condition, such as uncirculated or with minimal wear, it could be worth more, sometimes several dollars depending on the exact grade. However, for a typical circulated 1946 penny without a mint mark, the value remains modest. In summary, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in average worn condition is a piece of American history that most collectors keep for its nostalgic value rather than its monetary worth. It usually sells for less than $1, often between 5 and 20 cents, unless it has exceptional qualities or errors. If you find one in your change, it's still worth checking, but it's unlikely to be a significant moneymaker on the current coin market. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, even if it's in damaged condition. Understanding its value in today's market requires looking at its history, rarity, and current demand. First, let's talk about the coin itself. The Lincoln wheat penny was minted from 1909 to 1958, and the 1944 penny is part of a significant series. During World War II, the U.S. Mint focused on copper conservation, which led to variations in the coin's composition. The 1944 Lincoln penny was mostly made of copper, unlike the 1943 steel pennies. These coins were produced in large quantities, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why the 1944 penny without a mint mark, indicating Philadelphia origin, is quite common compared to other variations. However, what makes a 1944 penny without a mint mark valuable? Usually, rarity and condition drive coin values. Since the 1944 Philadelphia penny is common, most coins in average circulated condition are worth only a few cents or dollars. But in rare cases, certain mint errors or unusual features can increase value. For example, coins with double die errors or striking flaws can attract collectors. In damaged condition, the value of a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark generally decreases because collectors prefer coins in better shape. Damage can include scratches, dents, corrosion, cleaning marks, or bending. These flaws reduce the coin's grade and thus its market price. For damaged coins, the value typically remains close to face value or slightly above, around $3 to $10 depending on the damage severity and whether any rare attributes are present. That said, there are exceptions. Some damaged coins may still hold value if they display notable errors, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual minting anomalies. In these cases, even a damaged coin could be worth significantly more to a specialized collector. If you're looking to sell or buy a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in damaged condition, the market value today usually ranges between 1 cent, its face value, up to around $10 for coins with minor damage. For coins with severe damage and no errors, the value rarely exceeds a few cents. On the other hand, coins in uncirculated or mint condition can fetch higher prices, sometimes reaching $20 to $50 or more, depending on grading and demand. To get a precise value, it's always best to consult with a professional coin appraiser or use a trusted grading service. Coin values fluctuate with market trends, collector interest, and the overall economy, so staying updated is important. In summary, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in damaged condition generally holds limited monetary value, usually just a few cents to around $10. Its worth mainly depends on the extent of damage and the presence of any unusual minting errors. For collectors, the coin's historical significance and place in the Lincoln wheat series keep it interesting, even if damaged examples aren't highly valuable. Next up, the 1939 Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark is a coin that many collectors seek, especially because of its historical significance and relatively limited mintage compared to other years. The D mint mark indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint. When considering the value of this coin in today's market, several factors come into play. The first and most important is the condition of the coin. Coins that are in mint or near mint condition, showing little to no wear, can fetch a significantly higher price than those in poor or damaged condition. However, your question specifically mentions a coin in full damage condition, which implies that the coin has suffered extensive wear, corrosion, scratches, or other forms of damage that detract from its original appearance. In the case of a 1939 D Lincoln Wheat penny, a heavily damaged coin typically has a lower collector value. Most collectors and dealers grade coins on a scale ranging from poor P1 to mint state MS70. A damaged coin would likely fall into the poor to fair range, which considerably lowers its value compared to uncirculated or even moderately worn examples. Currently, a well-preserved 1939 D Lincoln Wheat penny can range from a few dollars to around $20 or more, depending on the exact grade. But when the coin is fully damaged, the value usually drops closer to its intrinsic metal worth, which is just a few cents, since pennies are primarily made of copper, and copper prices fluctuate, but are not very high. That said, damaged coins can sometimes still hold some value for collectors who want to fill a set or for educational purposes, but they rarely command premium prices. In general, a fully damaged 1939 D wheat penny might be worth around 10 to 50 cents on the market, depending on the severity of the damage and the demand in your local coin market or online. If you have one of these coins, it's worth getting it appraised by a professional coin dealer or grading service to get a precise evaluation. But keep in mind that damage significantly affects the price. To summarize, while the 1939 D Lincoln Wheat penny has value as a collectible, the extent of damage on your coin will greatly reduce its monetary worth, usually limiting it to just a fraction of what a well-preserved example would bring in today's market. Next up, the 1936 Lincoln Wheat penny, without a mint mark, is a notable coin for collectors, especially when found in extra-fine condition. The Lincoln Wheat penny series, produced from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most popular and widely collected U.S. coin series. The 1936 issue, minted at the Philadelphia facility, is recognized for its historical significance and moderate rarity compared to other pennies from that era. When examining a 1936 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, the condition of the coin is critical in determining its value. Extra fine condition means that the coin has only slight wear on the highest points of the design, with most of the original details still clearly visible. The luster might be diminished, but the overall appearance is still sharp and attractive. As of today's market, the value of a 1936 Lincoln Wheat penny in extra fine condition typically ranges between $10 to $20. This range can fluctuate based on demand, the exact quality within the extra fine grade, and any unique attributes the coin might have. Coins that have exceptional eye appeal, strong strike, or minimal contact marks can command a premium over the average value. It is important to note that 1936 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark are generally more common than their counterparts with a mint mark, such as the 1936 D or 1936 S pennies, which were minted in Denver and San Francisco, respectively. The presence of the mint mark can affect value significantly. For collectors focusing on the Philadelphia issues, finding one in extra fine condition is rewarding due to the wear that coins typically experience over nearly a century. In summary, the 1936 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition holds modest but solid value in today's market. Its price range around $10 to $20 reflects its condition and relative availability. Collectors interested in wheat pennies often seek these coins to complete their collections, appreciating their history and the artistry of the original design. For anyone who owns this coin, it is advisable to have it professionally graded to confirm its condition and potentially increase its market value when selling or trading. Next up, the 1951 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is a notable coin among collectors, especially when found in extra fine condition. This particular coin is part of the Lincoln Wheat series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia, which did not add any mint marks during that period. When discussing the value of a 1951 Lincoln Wheat penny in extra fine condition, it is important to understand what extra fine means. Coins graded as extra fine show lightware on the highest points, but retain most of their original details. The surfaces are still relatively smooth, and the coin's design features, such as Lincoln's profile and the wheat ears on the reverse, remain sharp and clear. The 1951 wheat penny is not among the rarest in the series, but its value is influenced by its condition and market demand. In circulated condition, this coin is quite common and generally worth only a few cents. However, in extra fine condition, it commands a premium because collectors seek well-preserved examples for their collections.